tiny seed. We watch it blossom into life.
Because I've got Ed coming up now. And Ed, hey, brother.
Shalom, my sweet wife, Kathy. How are y'all doing?
Good. Very blessed. Very blessed.
Listen, I wanted to show you something here. I got my Messianic redneck Siddur. It tells me what I'm supposed to do line by line so we can get through this, okay? If Brad was here, Brad would say that we're taking part in Jurassic Park #2 with a bunch of dinosaurs.
Hey, come on now. Yeah, I agree.
I considered, Kathy and I considered our home Florida's rest stop for Brad, you know, when he came through. Of course, normally we all had speaking engagements, but Brad would stay here, and I wouldn't ask Brad a lot of questions because I came from a corporate background where I traveled a lot, and I hated hotel rooms, and I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time. So I'd leave Brad alone. You know, once in a while I'd ask him something, or I'd wait for the speaking later on that evening. I might ask him something, but I really enjoyed Brad. Carol, thank you so much for sharing him with us. But I would like to go over a couple things that will give people a little bit of an insight. Number one, the Father has given us a great name to honor in the earth. Brad's name is great. He's given us a relationship with a guy that has a great name. And one of the things I want to encourage people that are listening, because I just think it's more than the people that have spoken here, is that every generation is responsible for moving the kingdom forward. And I would encourage everybody to look at all the ministries here, and especially look at Brad's, as we're talking about, right? And be financially involved in advancing the kingdom through his ministry. One of the things, I don't know if everybody know it, but some of you probably do, is that Brad came to Florida. He made a couple stops at the prisons here in Florida to teach, along with teaching people in the evening. So I don't like to say his schedule was tight; it was busy, and he he just did that. So his ministry not only touches individual people, but it touched people that were that are in prison at the same time. The other part about Brad that I really liked is I had the opportunity to introduce him to lots of small groups in the Jacksonville, Northeast Florida area, and he was so gracious and so kind to the people. One of the groups is down in Elkton, Florida. It's a handful of people that meet in a home, and I'll never forget that evening taking him to the home, and he played the keyboard, and taught, and just was so gracious and humble for those people that I'll never forget that. But that's the kind of man that he was. So going back to his first visit with me, I said, Brad, you want to go to St. Augustine? He said, yeah, I'd like to go to St. Augustine, Ed. And so I put him in the car, and I got about a mile and a half down the road and got a ticket for speeding. So we started off with the bang, but we did end up having a great time in St. Augustine. Had some great times walking on the beach with him, talking about the Lord, talking about ministry, trying to get a understanding, because I'm kind of what you call a visual learner. I've got to see things, and so I spent a lot of my time writing Brad's tapes and books, and I got stacks of them since I've been in this walk. Just about every teacher that's been here today, Tony and Eddie, and those guys there were just wonderful teachers, and that's the only way I could learn it, by writing it down. So in my spiral notebooks, I think I've got every cassette tape that Brad offered during the cassette tape era, and in some of the CDs. Behind me, if you'll notice, a series on Bereshit in the beginning, which is a wonderful series too. So one of the things, let me go back just say something real quick. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and in Vietnam, it took 8 to 9 people in support to back up one soldier in the field. If we would think about that when we look at our own lives and our own ministries, a lot of us are there just for the sake of pushing the kingdom forward to these very talented people. And Brad was one of those. He had a great sense of humor on part of it when he taught. So that's kind of what I wanted to say. I firmly believe that Brad taught Bill Cloud how to spell Pesach, because I had them come through a couple times. At one time, they taught on a Friday night, and then I took them up to Georgia, and I'm not sure if it was Butch and Sundance or Heckle and Jekyll, but we had a wonderful time up in Waynesville, Georgia, with the people up there. Outside of that, one last thing I want to say is that one of the last times Brad was here, this was kind of humorous. We booked a meeting here with a small fellowship on the other side of town, and when Brad was introduced by the gentleman, it was kind of a different way to introduce a speaker. It was almost like he was saying, putting a disclaimer that if this doesn't work out, then you can blame Ed, And so that was fine with me, except it was a little bit strange. But about 4 weeks later, I get a thank you card for Brad, and it says, "Ed, just want to thank you and Kathy for hosting me and taking care of us." And then it says, "Thank Bobby for giving us a shot." And so I looked at that thank you card. I didn't quite know what to do. I said, "Do I give this to Bobby or not?" Thanks for the shot. And so I did. I said, well, I want him to read it. So that was an interesting time. But Brad was just a wonderful man. He was so talented. You can't go in. I've heard it from everybody here today. And I just want to say that, Carol, on behalf of Kathy and I, he changed our lives. We know that you're part of that because you were so in support of him. And he ministered, I think, in the Jacksonville Northeast area. We were able to introduce him to 3, 4, maybe even 5 groups of people that either he went to see or combined with the groups here in Jacksonville when he taught. But Mark, I appreciate you letting me be part of it, because when I look down that list, I see these wonderful people that are advancing the kingdom, like Tony and Alyssa and everybody you had before. And we're just so appreciative and honored that we would be asked to speak at this memorial for Brad.
Hey, brother, Brad. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to let Carol know, anytime you can get to Florida, you have a home here. We'd love to see you. Our hearts go out to you.
And one more thing, okay? I don't know if anybody remembers the HRN conference about, I don't know, may have been 6 years ago. Brad would send his stuff to me, and then I think I'd pick him up at the airport sometime, him and Carol. And so I brought his stuff to him, and he said, "Ed, is there a costume place here in Jacksonville?" I said, "Yeah, I think I do." And so he says, "I need to get something." So I went to the costume place over here on what we call Beach Boulevard, and Brad comes walking out with a pair of angel wings. You remember that? Okay. Well, in Brad's memory,
it was the devil costume the year before in Dallas, and so we wanted to end it on a positive
yeah.
note.
Well, what I thought would be a great tribute to Brad would to bring on the angel wings and have people vote whether or not Bill Cloud ought to get these.
I vote yes.
You vote yes. Okay.
I can see Bill wearing angel wings.
Yeah, and if that's what y'all want me to do, I will mail them to Bill Cloud.
I love it. I love it. Well, brother, you mentioned your name on that list with all the other people's names. Brad never looked at anybody with different values. Everybody was the same to Brad, just like it is to God. And that's the way I see it too, man. It has nothing to do with whether you have a big name out there and invited to teach and all that kind of stuff. To me, everybody is of equal value to me, and I know it was to Brad too, and I know you were of great value to him. So that's all that really matters, my friend.
We're deeply honored, and Carol, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you for your wonderful, kind, warm words.
Yeah.
Graciousness.
Shalom.
God bless, brother and sister. Thank you so much. All right. Well,
A tiny seed, we watch it blossom into